Hey guys, it's Jen over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is our card for today. So this card did not turn out anything like I had envisioned it, but I think it turned out pretty sweet. I wasn't really planning on doing any more Christmas cards, but as this was coming together, I thought it would look really sweet with the little sentiment from the Christmas Quilt stamp set. So let's get started with the supplies, and I will show you how I created this. I used the red tinsel trim from the holiday catalog. This is going away once the holiday catalog is done with, so if you want some, you might want to get yours now. The stamp sets that I used are the Christmas Quilt for your sentiment, have yourself a merry little Christmas, and the Baby Bear stamp set, which is a fun one too, but I liked being able to use a different sentiment with the stamp. It can lend itself to all sorts of different sentiments and occasions to send it. The dies that I used are the layering squares framelits, along with the card builder framelits as well, and these are going away at the end of the holiday catalog. Lots of things are going away from that holiday catalog, so if there was anything you wanted in it, you might want to check it out. And also, if you were not aware, today only, so this is December 11th, Stampin' Up is offering free shipping on all orders placed. So if there's a few things that you've been wanting to get your hands on, shipping is 10% of the order. So you can save 10%, which I took advantage of with my pre-order for the upcoming occasions catalog, and I saved $28, so if that tells you how much I spent on my original orders. So it's a great deal if you are wanting to save a little bit. Anyways, back to the supplies. Sorry about that. Real Red, Basic Gray, and Basic Black are the inks that I used. The papers are simple. I kept it just to several, 3 different colors. Real Red, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 for your card base. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Whisper White is 4 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/4, and a 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. This is a 3 1/2 inch square that I'm going to be stamping my image on and then cutting out using my framelit, my square. Basic Black is 4 by 5 1/4, so it's the same size as this Whisper White here. And then a 3 inch, I believe is what this is, scalloped square. So let's go ahead, and I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I think I want to stamp out our little bear first. And so what you're going to want is you're going to want to have a little bit, like this is just a little foamy thing, so I found it was a lot better for me to use this underneath of my stamped image, especially with the photopolymer stamps. I'm going to pull out my Basic Gray, and our first image is going to be this solid looking image here. So let's get this inked up. And I'm just going to stamp it here in the center. And the little imperfections in here are going to be okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this second one, and these are numbered on the stamp set, so you'll know which ones are which when you go to stamp these out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take him, and I'm going to stamp this over the top of this one here. And I kind of tried to line up where his little arms are for the best results in here. We'll see if this works. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, so then the last one, and see, when you stamp this one over the top of it, it just darkens everything underneath of it. And then I'm going to take my Basic Black with this third and final stamp, and hopefully we will get this stamped on here right, especially at the angle that I'm sitting at. I did find it was a little bit easier. I'm going to put this back on here. I did find it was a little bit easier to stand up while I was doing this so I could see directly on top of my stamp. So again, I'm just going to line up his little, the holes in his arm and kind of hope for the best. My stamp is maybe not as clear as I would like for it to be, but we're just going to go ahead and put this down. I'm a tad off, but it's not horrible, but I was kind of hoping for this one here. See, this little black got off here. So we're just going to go with this one. It's going to be just fine. Nobody's going to know, right? That's what I try to tell myself, at least. I'm going to grab out the Big Shot, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to let that one just kind of dry for a minute, and I'm going to pull out this frame. And if you have been watching my videos, this card might look a little bit familiar. I did do a card very similar to this in the Carols of Christmas stamp set. So I'm just going to line up my border here along this edge. And I did roll it through 2 times just to make sure that I got this. So then I'm going to take my die here and get these extra little pieces out. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to line up these 2 little holes here at the very edge with the holes that it created on here. So that's just going to get lined up there and there, and everything else will fall into place when those 2 pieces are lined up. Alright, so in the end, this is what you will end up with, minus all of those. So that's that. Now let's go ahead and we're going to take our just plain square from our layering squares, and we're going to line this up, and there will be a tiny tad bit that will be cut off on this edge and this edge, but in the overall image it didn't seem to matter once I had everything matted and put on there. So that's what it'll turn out when you cut it. So just a teeny tiny bit off here and here, but it, like I said, in the whole scheme of things, it's not going to really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this onto my scalloped square. And then I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this. And this is going to get placed on top of our Whisper White, the 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. And this is going to get set on top of our Real Red. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my sentiment at this point using the Real Red ink. Oh, so cute! I love it! Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this on top of our Whisper White. And that's just going to go centered in here. It just fits perfectly in between these borders. And the basic black is the same size as our Whisper White. And the reason I did that is I just want that basic black to be showing through the Whisper White border. And lastly, this is going to go on top of our Real Red card base. And again, just centered on the card front here. So now is our ribbon tying moment here. Let's get this. It's not too bad to tie with, so I'm just going to kind of bring this down and make it a little bit smaller than I want it, and then I'm going to pull it tighter. I wanted to keep this little bow a little smaller to go on the front of the bear. So I think I'm going to keep it here. And then, you know what I did today? I don't know why I haven't thought of this before. So you know how I'm always struggling with keeping my bows, like my ends, even? Again, this was like, oh, that was, I don't know why I haven't thought of that before. So I'm just going to bring these down together and cut it. And that way, look at that. They are even. Crazy. My glue dots. So I don't have my glue dots here in front of me. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive here on the front and just stick our little bow down on top of it. That way I don't have to go run and try and find my glue dots, and that works just as good. So I do think I want this little, I think I want my ends to be shorter after all. I didn't cut them short enough, so just maybe cut off a little bit here of each end. All right, that's it, guys. This is our card, and it did not take too long to put together. And even though the bear didn't stamp out exactly as I wanted, I still think he turned out really sweet. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead of you, and I will catch you later on my next video. If you would like written dimensions and a supply list to print out, you can go to my website, worldofjencraft.com. Thanks again, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.